Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I do have a little bit of disclaimer, which is not really a disclaimer. I was recently in a car crash, and as a result of that, my brain is a little bit foggy. So, as much as I would love to apologize for that, I'm not gonna. If I mess up, it could be because of my bad brain, or it could also be because I'm also human. So, I have learned to get over it, and hopefully you guys can too. Now, in my lap are just 7 books, if I'm not mistaken, that I would like to read in January. Now, it's a little bit late in the year, uh, but or it's a little bit late in the month. It's currently January 23. So, it's very unrealistic of me to assume that I can read a 7 book in the next 8 days, but there will also be a blister over the weekend, so who knows? A lot can happen in 8 days. A lot has happened in 23 days. I was in a car crash, then I also turned 28, so I am just lifing at this moment half the time. I don't remember my own name, but reading ever since I was a child is the one thing that has always kept me grounded. And so while I might be forgetting everything else, at least I remember my love for books. And while they haven't always been like the best, they're my escape from reality. I still have a concussion from the car crash. I still have on and off pain. But half the worlds I read about don't have cars, so they have dragons and horses and other beasts, mythical beasts. So, or they have other civilizations where cars no longer exist. So there's also that. But that being said, because this is a really long intro, if you're new here, my name is Hannah. I'm not sure if I said it, because half the time I don't remember my own name. And when I don't remember anything, I repeat my name over and over again until I remember what it is I'm trying to remember. But yeah, we're enough of the bloom and doom. Or I don't even, is that even insane? Anyways, we're going to get into these books. One of which I've already started reading. So this is The Giver. This, if I'm not mistaken, I've watched the movie. I kind of really loved the movie. I think it follows like a world where you're not supposed to feel certain emotions or something along that line, except there's one guy every however many years. It's kind of like the Hunger Games, but not the Hunger Games. That's the best way my brain can describe it right now, so please forgive me. Then I have Shutter Island. This is also a movie starring Titanic Guy. I've always called him Titanic Guy because this is one of the first movies I've watched with him. I think his name is Leonardo DiCaprio or something along that line. But he'll always be Titanic Guy for me. Is he the guy from Titanic? If he isn't, I'm gonna be so. At one point, I thought he was James Bond, so I don't know if he's ever been a James Bond. Last night, I accidentally watched a James Bond movie, and I was halfway through and I heard them calling him James Bond. I was like, is this a James Bond movie? And I went ahead and I realized that it is. And none of you know me enough, but I don't like watching movies out of order. And that's a James Bond movie from 2021. And now, because I've watched them out of order, I'm going to have to go watch all of the James Bond movie to understand what was happening. So had I known it was a James Bond movie, I would not have watched it. So, that's just a weird thing about me. Just like if I know there is a movie's based on a book, I cannot watch the movie until I've read the book. And normally once I've watched the movie and I know it's a book, I sometimes have to go and watch the movie. So that's, I think, 2 things you've learned about me. This is 50 Shades of Grey. Now, This was the book that made me got back into romance at 17. When I was like 8, 9, or 10 or something, I don't know, I got my hands on a lot of Harley Quinn little, there are these 178 pages romance books that it was always this billionaire guy, or it's like the billionaire's affair, the billionaire's like, if I find any of those books, or if I manage to go on the interwebs while I'm editing this video and I find any of those, I'm gonna insert some pictures. It's like these little Harley Quinn books. You know, the girl will be really poor and then he's her boss, or she'd sleep with him the day before and then she just, oh, these 178. Or there's that's when I knew I liked cowboy books, and then I got tired of it being the same shit over and over and over again. The guy having money, the girl not having money. I knew I was a feminist at the ripe age of 10. I just knew. I was like, there's no way that not one of these worlds the girl doesn't have the money. You know what I was saying? So I kind of fell out of love with books like that. And then I was 17, and this girl in my high school had this book, and I was like, 50 Shades of Grey. Ooh. I just kind of like the whole in terms of the 50 Shades of, it's not like my brain didn't see it as 50 Shades of Grey. It's like 50 Shades of any color. I was like, oh my God, 50 Shades, you know? I was like, started thinking there's so many colors. Ooh. And so I read it and I was like, oh, oh. And then that was 17 years, that was 11 years ago. I was 17. I'm 28 now. I haven't read it since I was an adult. And I was like, I need to see if my 17 year, if my 17-year-old self knew what the hell she was talking about. So this is similar. Oh, I forgot to mention. I I normally don't say give a synopsis of the books for two reasons. One, maybe because one, I'm gonna try to gather my thoughts. I moved my hand 2 seconds ago, and now my rotator cuff hurts, so I'm gonna have to try to lean back a little bit. Okay, one, one. What am I trying to say? Oh, reasons why I don't give synopsis. One is because I normally don't read the synopsis for books because it kind of spoils the books for me. So when I read a synopsis, I'll like pick a line or two or a scene from the synopsis that I'm looking forward to. And when I get to that part, if it's not the way I envisioned, then I'm normally disappointed, which could lead to a 3-star of what would have been a 4-star book. So I don't read synopsis anymore. And two, in the event someone is watching this video who also doesn't like the synopsis, I kind of don't want to spoil it for them. But if you guys want me to give you more synopsis, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. You just put these books into Google and it will tell you. I'm sorry. Like I've been a little bit more snarkier since my concussion. I'm really sorry. Like just okay. This is the woman in cabin 10. When I saw this, it was given what's it called? It was given the woman on the train. So I was like, I have to read this book. And now it's a movie, so I have to read it because the movie's on Netflix and I really do want to watch that. So I'm guessing it's a woman in cabin number 10. I don't know. If it gets any more technical than that, then what the hell are we doing with these names? This, I guess some people say is a classic or whatever. I didn't mean it that way, but I'm not sure if it's a classic or not. I've never read any Jane Austen book. I've watched this movie starring that girl who she comes in Pirate of the Caribbean. It's Keira Knightley. I don't really follow up the name of actors. The only for the longest while, the only two actresses I knew. I I recently discovered a Titanic guy's name. I always knew Sandra Bullock. I loved her movies growing up. Loved Angelina Jolie. Then there's the Will Smith. Um, there's this other black guy, Eddie Murphy. I always knew Eddie Murphy from. Um, he comes in this haunted house, haunted mansion movie that I really love. So there wasn't really a lot of actresses. I love Johnny Depp. I always know his name. My favorite movie from him is Edward the Scissors Hand Man. I love that movie. And I love Pirates of the Caribbean. So we're talking about Jane Austen. I don't know how I got here. So I've watched the movie, never read the book, and I was like, it's just like Lord of the Rings. I've watched all of the Lord of the Rings. As a matter of fact, I watched Lord of the Rings at least. I watched the entire six movies, The Hobbits and all of the Lord of the Rings. I've watched those at least 3 to 4 times a year, like religiously. Like anytime I'm doing, like if I'm doing laundry, I'm about to do something and I want like a movie to just watch, it's the Lord of the Rings, it's the Hobbit, and it's like to me they never. I could like when I'm if you were to walk in on me watching those, you'd assume I'm watching for the first time. It's like I'm like, oh my God, Frodo did that. I'd be crazy. Anyways, but then I'm always intimidated by these books because I'm like, what if I don't like the writing style? What if the writing style I find it hard to I have this thing sometimes where I can read something and not remember what I read. Like I don't know if it's because I have internal monologue where I'll talk to myself inside my head and I hear a voice. It's not a girl voice or a boy voice. It's not a masculine or feminine voice. It's just a voice inside my head. And so sometimes when I'm reading, if I start talking to myself, I could still be reading and talking to myself. And then by the time I'm done talking to myself, I would have read 2, 3 pages and I have no idea. Like absolutely no idea what I read, to the point where I know I'm reading them, but I'll go back and I was like, when did this happen? You know? And so because of that, I'm always intimidated by whether or not my brain will comprehend what I'm seeing. It's like, I wouldn't directly say that I'm dyslexic, but I could be reading like misconception, I could say misconceived, something like that. Or I'll see deceived and I'll say decide. Mind you, you asked me to spell deceive, I know how to spell deceive. Except the other day, due to the accent, I was like sitting here and I was like, I could not spell blow for the life of me. I had to ask my kid. And when she spelled blow, it's like, oh my God. I know how to spell, but I was like, blow. Blow, is blow a word? And so when I think of this, I'm intimidated. It's to the point where I could not tell you what the first page of this book looks like. I literally have not opened the book. That's how intimidated I am by this. And this is a book from my library. I think most of these are from my library. This is The Ocean at the End of the Lake. The Ocean at the End of the Lake. I almost said, see, I said The Ocean at the End of the Lake. I said it 2 times. It's The Ocean at the End of the Lane. Okay, so the librarian at the library said if you ever read if you had like if you could only read like one Neil Gaiman book. Oh, Gaiman. I've been saying Gaiman all day, all day. If you had to read one Neil Gaiman book, this should be the one. She says it's really lovely. Hadn't She told me what it was about a little bit, but I had no idea. I have no idea now what it is about. Those are just 6 books that I hope to read in the next 8 days. Mind you, I've already started one, but I'm only at 22 pages, so we're not even going to count that, because that's I'm not even the fastest reader. It's not a reading is a competition, but I read like 33 page an hour, so to read 100 page, that's like 3 hours. Oh, well, that's I used to be a really fast reader as a kid. Like I once read a 500 page book when I was a kid. I was 17. So when I was 17, I read 50 Shades of Grey in one day. So I should do that I should try to do that. Like, can I read? I don't know. That just sounds really. My brain is just doing what my brain does. If this video was a was longer than it should have been, I would love to say I want to apologize, but I would just say my sincerest condolences, you know, for your loss of time. You see what I'm saying? So at least I still have my sense of humor. Anyways, the car crashed. When the car crashed, it's my mom's car. I was like really, really crying because it's my mom's car and she was still paying for it. And I was like, really, like, oh my God. Like, I was like, my mom's gonna kill me because it's her car. And it does this me. I'm a very emotional person. But today, she's in the hospital. Today, she texts me. She's like, I have to tell you something. And I'm like, what? Because I thought it was something about her doctor's going to tell her something bad. And she's like, I'm not mad about a car. I'm just glad you came home. And I had to call her and I was like, are you okay? Because you sound like you're getting like bad news. And she was like telling her girlfriend, this is why you don't be nice to people. But I'm like, you know how I feel about, I don't process emotions that well. I can sympathize and empathize, but like I know how to feel sorry for someone. But then when people try to like, I don't process affection that well. Like I don't like hugs and all that stuff. And so when she sent me that message, I was like, ugh. I know what she meant, and I know I should feel happy about that, but I was just, I was overwhelmed for a moment. Now, one of the downsides of having a concussion is that I find myself oversharing stuff that I wouldn't normally share. I'll be somewhere and someone will say hi to me. I'll be like, I was in a car crash. I never used to do that before. Also, I've always been meaning to learn to speak Spanish, and now I don't really know any Spanish, but I found myself trying to say things in Spanish. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be looking dumb because I don't. Like the other day, my mom was saying something. I was like, "Silencio, por favor." And I was like, "Oh my God, I don't speak Spanish, but I know those are words that I know anyways." This video has gone on longer than it should go on, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you've read any of these books, you plan to read any of these books, and let me also know what books you've read or you will be reading in January. And have a wonderful year, month, week, day, hour, minute, second. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.